find the small thing you can do in your day that helps you feel like a better version of yourself.
It doesn't have to be everything.
It is a daily practice that you do all of the time.
And do things that impact you positively, because not forgiving someone doesn't impact them.
The more intention you bring to it, the more attention you bring to it, the easier it gets.
So take a step back and think, what do I need?
You're listening to episode 13 of the Apology Void podcast. Hello.
Hey.
Hey. It's a beautiful day. Actually,
it's a great day today.
It's like 8:30 p.m. here now.
It is. Have you had the time change yet? Yes.
Yes.
I forgot.
In case
checked in with me.
Yeah, in case you were wondering, like, we found out the hard way that Australia and the US do their time changes at different points, which to me was wild. It's like weeks apart. And so in the fall, Sal and I just kept missing each other and being like, I thought we were supposed to start at this time. I suppose. And like for weeks, we were just off because we would have these time changes, but at different points. But neither of us communicated that because why would you think about it? Anyway.
Well, because ours is changing in like 3 weeks' time or something like that.
Yeah.
So then we'll be back. Because our time difference is
16 hours now, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say it's more now.
It's less because we were at
less.
17. Yeah. So we're growing closer together.
Back. Oh, we're okay, yeah, gotcha. Anyway.
Spring ahead,
midday.
Fall back.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You taught me that because I was like, I can't remember.
Yeah, but like your spring is my fall is your spring. It's just wild. Anywho.
Wild. Anyway.
Poodles.
Anywho. So this week, we are, I guess, changing it a little bit. Like, not, we've done some pretty, like, heavy topics and...
Yes.
Since we've started. Some light, some heavy, but we're just going to talk about self-care.
Yeah. And that is, like, my jam. When I do public speaking engagements, this is what I speak on because I feel like it's so important. And, we talked last time about affirmations and how it is a practice. It's not something you just do once. It's not something you tick off like a checklist of affirmations every day. It's not like you do it once and then you just have the belief that you and everything are awesome. No, it's a practice. Self-care is the same. It isn't like treating yourself to a massage once a year. It's not taking a bubble bath to like take care of yourself. No, it is a daily practice that you do all of the time. You're like laughing. I'm like, seriously though, people think that's what it is sometimes.
I 100% agree. I'm laughing because I know how passionate you are about this. It's like laughing because we're in the punching mood today. I was like, it's going to be so light. It's going to be so fun. And you're like, boom, boom, straight in there. Love it. So no,
we're going to keep it light and airy, like little butterflies. And I'm like, no, we're tunneling down. It's serious-ish.
I didn't mean light and fairy like butterflies. I just meant like it's a lighter topic. But you're right.
Yes.
It's not about just yay, I'm having a bath and I feel like it does. That is a thing. I just
Wonderful.
put it out there. We're going to talk about that. But it's not the only thing it is. Like we're just going to talk about what it really is.
Correct. It's just like, okay. You thought that affirmations were this kind of like a woo-woo topic and everything. Self-care, I feel like people sometimes look at like it's this thing that's unattainable or has to be like a special treat. And it's either that or they look at it like they're so proud for doing the basic healthcare tasks like drinking water. And I'm like, that's not self-care, that's healthcare. And that's different. Like self-care isn't just the practice of doing like your daily tasks of living. It's something that maintains and improves your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. So it's taking things from sustaining to elevating. And everything we've talked about so far is how do we elevate ourselves? How do we take ourselves to that next level so we can live our best, most awesome lives? And it isn't always about the things that you're doing. It's sometimes about the things that you're not doing. Like the things you do. Okay, for example, today I was out to lunch, and this I've done multiple times. When my body hits a point where I have to be done, I say to the person, I need to be done now. I am losing steam. I need to take time for myself. I know that in order to be the best version of myself, I need to take time away, set that boundary, and take the time to actually like recharge. I can't show up for anyone else until I actually take the time to do the things for me. So.
And that's part of your self-care.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's is different. And again, like we've talked about introverts and extroverts, and some of that is similar. Sometimes for people, it's taking care of that extroverted side of you. Like if you are just going to work, coming home, eating dinner, going to bed, like you're not engaging in a lot of self-care. Having good friend circles, having people that you do things with, having hobbies, that is self-care. Like that is good self-care practice. Yeah. Last night, my partner and I, he got home from work. We played a board game. Then we went for like a nice hikey walk where he played disc golf and I just walked because I'm not, the discing is not for me. And that's fine.
Not your self-care.
Not my self-care. No, it would have been more stressful for me. So I took care of myself a different way. And then came home and did a different game and made food together. Like those are all self-care tasks. And it is giving yourself the permission to actually do the things to take care of you.
Yeah.
So.
And I think this is really important because when we think, like, so self-care, we automatically think having a long bubble bath, doing a face mask, having an everything shower, all of those things. Don't get me wrong, they are really important as well. Like that does contribute to, you know, self-care, and you feel good when you make your appearance good and you know, have freshly washed hair and you feel amazing and stuff. I'm not discrediting that at all. Something you said then resonated with me though. I remember years ago, and this is in my story. So when I first started my business, I was working 80 hours a week in my job. So that left very little time for anything else. And when I speak about that time in my life, I talk about I had no time and was giving everything to my job and nothing to the people that I love, and that included me.
Yeah.
So I was not taking care of myself because I was doing exactly what you're saying. Working, coming home, chucking on the TV for 20 minutes, shoving down some dinner, and I had to go straight back to bed. Because to work 80 hours a week, you've got to be working all the time, I'm telling you. So it wasn't about, and no amount of face masks or baths would have made any difference in my life back then. It would not have made me, my inner self, feel good. Maybe for a fleeting moment, I would have been like, amazing, I've got washed hair, great, cool story, I've got to go to work now. But it was about the time, and I didn't have the time to do anything to fuel things or to do things for myself that I loved, like being an extrovert, being around people, being in a community. I posted something on my Instagram yesterday about massive changes come when we build community and being around other people and feeding off other people who have happiness and success. That's self-care, specifically for someone like me. And a lot of people, you know, we are craving community in this time. So that, you're saying it, and I probably didn't realize even until then that it was related to self-care.
Yeah.
Because I just wasn't doing any of that. I had no time. It was just shit, to be honest. Just saying.
I mean, that point, if you are doing a face mask when you're working 80 hours a week and that's the one thing you're doing for yourself, it's like, I see that as putting a Band-Aid on like a massive wound that needs like surgery and stitches.
100%.
It's not the appropriate thing for that. Yeah, maybe it'll do a little, but in the end, it's not going to clear that deficit. And like, that's what you're doing. You're creating this self-care deficit that honestly leads a lot of people to burnout and illness and like poor relationships, both with self and with other people. It's really unfortunate. And like, I was there too. It's one of those things I feel like is built into us culturally, is we have to do and do for others, not do for ourselves, sacrifice ourselves for literally everyone else, do for everyone but us, because if we do for us, then we're selfish. And that's just, I'm not about it. I am not about it here.
No, neither. Yeah.
And so it's one of those things that like, yes, going to the gym is good. Yes, drinking water is great. You need those things to physically function in your body. If you can also get outside and then do something for every piece of your person. Like self-care isn't just, again, about that like bodily piece. It's about the physical, the spiritual, the emotional, the practical, the social. All of those are a piece of your person, and we have to take care of all of those different parts of self in order to create the best, like, whole, I'm like creating a person here, whole human. Hello.
You're right, though, because it's, you know, like the physical care that you're talking about, like the gym, the water, all of that, that is self-care. I'm not, like,
Yeah.
I don't want to blur the line, but as you're saying, like, water shouldn't come under the category of self-care because it's a necessity.
Right.
Right? Like taking a shower, I'd probably say that's a necessity as well. Just saying, if you're not showering, it's probably another whole discussion. But I feel like that's a necessity.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
One of the
spoken
things...
about the affirmations last week, like that comes under the emotional side of things. So affirmation looks after your emotional or your mindset, right? So that's mindset care or emotional care. Like affirmations, things like meditation, things like journaling practices, you know, whichever it is that you do or that you want to do, that sort of stuff. And when you don't have, like when you're really time poor, I bloody get that. You don't do any of these things. So you just feel so bleh.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll repeat myself, but taking a shower is not going to fix it. Just saying.
No, it's not. Absolutely not. I talk a lot about like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is a psychology thing. And it is. You're nodding your head and smiling over here like, yes.
I know it.
Yes.
I know all too well.
But the things like we talk about are, how do you live your best life? How do you live like with good relationships and good boundaries, and how do you love yourself, and how do you get to this place of confidence? And like those things, those are in the higher level of needs. Like you have to have those base level things met, the physiological needs: air, water, food, shelter, sleep. And if you're not doing those, a bubble bath and a face mask isn't going to fix a dang thing. Like, it's not, you cannot have good self-confidence and good relationships unless you are doing all of those base level things. And then we can build up. Because until we get all of those basic needs met, where we are actually taking care of ourselves by drinking enough water, and like we took a small respite so we could eat some food and drink some orange juice and have our orange juice and have our water. Like, those are the base level needs that you have to take care of. And then we build on that. Then we can help ourselves. Like, your emotional stability is so much greater when you do things like exercise, drink water, and sleep. And then you can work on those other things like journaling and meditating, or whatever it is that fuels your emotional, spiritual self, creating those connections and making the time for those things. That comes after you do the base level care.
And there is situations where, so absolutely, I speak from experience here. If someone came to me back then and said, you need to do, this and this and this, I would have been like, F off. Like, I do not have time for that. So I get that side of things as well. And if you're that person listening and you're like, you don't know my situation, like, how dare you sit there and say you need to do beyond water and that, because I've got, 4 kids and working 2 jobs and doing all this. I think it's just about, like, I hear you first and foremost. I hear you. I understand that I don't have children, but I understand the lack of time all too well. I think it's just about picking. What we're saying is, like, if a bath makes you feel good, great, but maybe pick something a touch, like, deeper that fuels your soul. It doesn't have to be everything. It doesn't have to be spending time with people, journaling, meditating, going for a walk, going to the gym, all of that, because you can't do it if you don't have the capacity. I get it. I wasn't going to the gym. No way. When would I have gone to the gym? No chance. However, what I could have done in hindsight is on a lunch break, or I drove to work in my car before I started for 5 minutes, just sit in silence for 3 minutes. Like, I could have found 3 minutes or 5 minutes to meditate or something. I could have done that. So it's about just finding things that will fit into the time outside of a Band-Aid, and I'm air quoting for those listening and not watching.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I just want to make it clear, like, I have lots more time now. So I'm speaking from a massive place of privilege here. I can absolutely acknowledge that. I work a quarter of what I used to, but I mean, that's taken time and I've built to that. But I'm speaking from a place of someone who has time, knowing or having been in the opposite. Yeah. I just know the effects of not doing anything because I did nothing about it. It was not it. It was not good. I was not in a good space.
Yeah. No, I get that. And, like, what you bring up is so important because people do have families or work multiple jobs or whatever they do. And so much of, I'm putting this in air quotes, is finding time. So much of finding time is approaching things intentionally. So instead of just turning on the radio when you're in the car, taking a moment while you're driving to say those affirmations out loud to yourself. That is self-care. That's a form of self-care.
100%.
And it's something that we've talked about. It's, while your kids are at soccer practice, use that time to walk the length of the field if you need to do, like, physical exercise. When you are making dinner, like, take deep breaths intentionally and engage in the process if that's possible. It's bringing that intention to what you're doing. That in and of itself is a meditative self-care practice, is bringing that intention into it. It doesn't have to be something massive. It could be when your alarm goes off in the morning, rather than looking at your phone first thing, putting those 3 like gratitude things out into the world, saying 3 things you're grateful for. That's a self-care practice. In the morning, while you are brushing your teeth or brushing your hair, singing a song, listening to your favorite song while you do that, and, like, dancing along to it. That's a self-care practice. All of those things, when you say you don't have time, it's looking at it from a different perspective of gratitude and what you do have. When can you actually do those things? And how can you change those little habits of things that you're already doing to be more mindful? Because that's how that process starts. aside from the trying to get like good sleep habits.
Yeah, sleep. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's probably the first. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like quality sleep, number one.
Everything.
Because you're going to get stressed and all the things.
Correct.
And I think, I guess I'm embracing my younger self because I'm trying to come from the devil's advocate place, as they say as well. Because I think if someone also had have said to me, oh, just pick one thing, I would have been like, oh, piss off. Like, you have no idea. And I was in that, but I was like, you have no idea what it's like. You don't know. You don't know. And because I was so shut off to anything, because I was just in such the routine. Like, it was just go, go, go all the time. I had to do this, go to bed, da, 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 like full rat race styles, right? So I would have said, you don't know. You don't know what my life's like. We don't. Number one, we don't. I really, really encourage you if that's you, because I really know if that is you, please just pick one. Pick one thing. Like, I hear you when you say, you don't know, I don't have time. I get it. Like,
yeah.
Honestly, just pick one, and I promise you it will start to make a difference. And I've spoken about this story before when I sort of left that job and stopped doing those crazy things. And I thought it would be all great, like instant fix. But because I hadn't done anything for self-care for 4 years or however long it wasn't an instant fix. I needed to do so much work after that. But if you do tiny little things, the compound effect will work over time, and those daily self-care practices, or okay, let's just put it out there. Maybe it is once a week. If you're really going, I just can't. Maybe it is I listen to a meditation once a week. I mean, you're listening to this podcast, so maybe it is I listen to my favorite podcast in the car on the way. So just something, like anything, like super urge. Maybe there isn't those people listening because it is a podcast, I guess, and the people are listening and have time, but maybe just saying.
Who knows? Who knows?
Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get it. Like, I used to be that person who said, I'm too busy. I don't have time. I can't pick one. Like, no, absolutely not. And I used to think people were a little like, no, just no, absolutely not. I did not have time. Anywho, the first, I think, big habit I changed for myself was making my bed every day. And that was a self-care thing. It wasn't something to like look nice for other people. It was because I know that I feel better and I sleep better getting into a made bed. I know that when I wake up in the morning, if I make my bed, it helps me feel more put together for the day. Like, I know that that's a thing that helps me. That is a self-care task for me. And, it might not sound like the traditional self-care, but it's what helps me. And that's what it's all about. Find the small thing you can do in your day that helps you feel like a better version of yourself, that takes you and just like puts your little confidence up a notch, or that helps you come down at night. Any of those things. Sometimes it's really hard for me to remember what my self-care tasks are. And so I'll even like create a list of things that I know will help me feel better. Like, I forget that sometimes when my brain is really scattered, that just brain dumping in a journal helps. Like, that is a self-care task. So
some of them you probably
one of those
do
things,
so naturally now too. Like, some of them you probably do that and you go, oh, what are my tasks then? But you've actually been doing them already. Like, you probably just
right.
Yeah, because it's like it's a habit now. Really, you've created a habit of self-care techniques that work. So you do them kind of, some of them, not all of them, but subconsciously. You don't really acknowledge that you're doing it. You're like, I'm not doing it, but you are doing it.
I feel like one other really good emotional health and self-care thing is allowing yourself to actually feel. I think sometimes when we are in the mindset of busy, we take all of our feelings and like suppress them. So might seem counterintuitive, but giving yourself the permission to cry is actually really good for you. Giving yourself the like 60 seconds to be upset about something, to be angry about something, to vent to a friend, that's self-care. That is a way for you to actually take care of yourself. So maybe if you say that you're too busy, you're already doing some of these things. And it's just taking it and acknowledging it and going, oh, I can do it. I can do that. I can do that. I can do that.
I listened to this podcast the other day, and he was talking about the 5-minute rule and how when something happens in his life, when he's saying to other people, so to get angry, to get upset, if something happens to you, you've got 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So self-care is, as you said, allowing yourself to be angry or sad or whatever that is. But self-care is also giving yourself permission to get out of the funk.
Yeah.
So give yourself a time, but don't let it consume your life, because that's how you get in the rut like I was 4 years, because it consumes your life. So, okay, I'm annoyed that I have to do this email for work. How annoying. Like, that should have already been done by someone yesterday. Ugh. Then you just don't be annoyed at that person forever, because it'll consume your life. Just be pissed off for 5 minutes, then give yourself permission to move on and be happy again, or try and be happy and do things. Because that's also self-care, to let go of a pity party or an anger party or whatever.
An anger party. I like that.
It's like forgiveness, I guess, in a way. Like that's the sense of, this is much bigger. We're going to.
Yeah.
I love it. This is going to be light. It's not. Soz, not soz. It's like forgiveness that's a big form of what I'm talking about. So if someone does something against you in your life, the act of forgiveness is the act of being able to move on from that and do things that impact you positively, because not forgiving someone doesn't impact them. Self-care for you is forgiving them, because your anger, your resentment, your annoyance, whatever that is, towards that person doesn't impact them at all. They don't give a shit. It affects you. So if you give yourself permission to move on, this is not an easy task, by the way. Also, big one. So that's just a big example, but small example is the email. I'm pissed off about this email. My coworker's really annoying. Move on after 5 minutes, because it's not gonna serve you. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
What happened to fairies and rainbows?
Sal, this was not all unicorns today. This was not that light, floaty feeling.
I came into it like,
oh yeah, this is the...
We're self-caring.
Well, I feel like it's one of those things where, I don't know, you use the word faff, which I have never used in my life, where it's a whole bunch of...
Faffing.
Never used that word.
Faffing around. Oh, we use that a lot.
Well, I feel like that could be what a lot of people consider with self-care, is it's just like all this frivolous, like...
Faffing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's a daily practice, and something you have to work on every single day. And you take it literally one step, one itty bitty little small step at a time. And once you get one thing down and it's become part of your daily routine, then you try for another. It's like positive self-talk. It is like confidence. It is like every other thing that we have talked about so far. It builds on itself day after day after day. And the more intention you bring to it, the more attention you bring to it,
I like it,
the easier it gets.
Amazing.
I'll stop now. I'm gonna go do some self-care, Sal.
I've done my affirmations today. My gratitude today.
Whew.
We love it.
Oh man.
No, I think that's good. And I think, you spoke about at the start how this is something that you really focus on in a lot of your coaching and stuff. And
yeah,
I guess we're coming from a place of experience, also just acknowledging that there are many facets to self-care. It's, as I said, again, we're not discrediting the face mask and the everything shower and all of that. But actually, I do want to say something else. Instagram makes us believe that that's all it is. All these like self-care videos of, like on a Sunday, you're, having an everything shower and masking and shaving your legs and whatever you're doing, I don't know. But it's like this glamorous person in their apartment that looks like a hotel, like making out as self-care that's all it takes.
Yeah.
We just wanted to come on and say it's not all it is. There's many emotional, physical, spiritual, all of those things are all encompassing, and there needs to be self-care in all of those areas.
To speak from a little experience and give a little insight as to why I am so incredibly like, this is a big topic, guys. The reason I'm so passionate about it is because I have talked about having chronic illness before, but at the point where I thought I knew what self-care was and thought I was doing the right thing was when I was my sickest. I was exercising all of the time. I was taking hot baths. I was trying to read self-improvement books, and I thought I was doing, I put this in air quotes, doing self-care right. But my body got to a point where I couldn't hold a cup of coffee without crying because I was in so much pain. I ended up not able to walk a half mile. Turning doorknobs to literally walk into any room was so incredibly painful. I couldn't carry my backpack and like go to work. My daily life was so affected because I wasn't actually taking care of myself in the way that I needed. And that was taking care of my mental, emotional, and spiritual health. It was upholding boundaries. It was using positive self-talk. It was taking care of my friendships and my relationships, and mostly my relationship with self. Like, I was doing the things, but I wasn't taking care of the actual self and needs. I was putting on a really good act and putting a Band-Aid on a massive wound. And the more I started to set boundaries, the more I started to actually take care of myself in the way that I needed, the better I got physically and the less pain I was in. So like, I'm happy to talk about that journey in more depth with anyone who ever wants to talk about it. But that's part of why. It's because I was at that place where I was working all of the time, where I was engaging in social activity all of the time, which as an ambivert, that is not for me. Like I can't do it. So I hope that serves as kind of like a background as to why this is something, because I was in that place. And the more you just start to focus on what fuels and lights your fire and what supports you, the better it gets. So,
and we touched on that with affirmations as well, and it's applicable in this space that if you're watching people on Instagram and doing the baths and you think, and then you're doing it and it doesn't make you feel any better, maybe that's not what you need to be doing personally.
Yeah.
So make sure you're tailoring your self-care to you personally, what you need in that time and point in your life, because what everybody needs is really different. Maybe some people do need to do a face mask. Maybe they're like just vibing it out. Amazing.
Heck yeah. Here for
Love that. But maybe some people don't. Maybe some people need to meditate. Maybe some people, like it's just, it depends on what you need. So take a step back and think, what do I need, which will make me feel good, and tailor your self-care to that.
Yep. Absolutely. I love that. Well,
Amazing.
On that note, I think we should go take care of ourselves and
I think so.
Tell everyone else, have a beautiful day.
Thanks, guys. Remember to share this episode with someone if you found it useful and you think it will help them too.
Absolutely. Talk soon.
Bye.